Welcome back. Well, I'm very honored to have with us today the Orangewood Foundation, and we have Sarah Bazant, who is the Director of Marketing, and we have Danielle Charles, who is a Youth Support Specialist. Thank you both for being with us today. It's very nice to have you.
Glad to be here, Lisa. Thank you.
I'm very happy that we made this connection, and I'm really excited to hear more about this. But first, let's talk a little bit about how both of you came into contact with the Orangewood Foundation. And Sarah, we'll start with you.
Sure. So I've been with the foundation for 17 years. It's gone very quickly. I can't believe it's been that long. But my background is in corporate marketing. I worked for big companies like Nestled and Verizon Wireless and some others. And my father died unexpectedly, and it really made me evaluate how I was using my talents in my career. And so I decided to apply them to something that I thought would be giving back to the world and giving back to our community. And I interviewed a number of nonprofits and got the job at Orangewood, and have loved it ever since.
So how does the director of marketing from a corporation where you're promoting products and a very large organization go to promoting what you guys do for the community?
Yeah, it's definitely different, but I think, and when I first started, I was working with a lot of social worker type of executives with our organization, and so I had to tell them what marketing even was and how it could help our organization. But it's really changing lives, and in the same way that you parent individual children that you have in different ways and identify their greatest potential, we do the same thing. And so I think it's very relatable to most people about giving all youth the opportunity to thrive and prosper.
Right, great. Now, Danielle, you had mentioned that you are part of the foster system.
Yes,
and then you came across Orangewood Foundation, and now you're working for them. So tell me the transition.
It was really great. I used to work at a lot of government agencies, and there's a lot of, it's very bureaucratic sometimes, and there's a lot of things you can't do, and they're very strict on building relationships. And what I love about the foundation and where I felt that I've thrived is the opportunity to do those things. And luckily and thankfully, with the resources that we get provided from donations and people volunteering, we're just really able to be full encompassing of what youth need, and I feel very honored to be a part of that.
Well, that is great. And let's talk about the mission. Well, let's talk about the history of Orangewood Foundation and then what your mission is.
Sure. So Orangewood Foundation was founded in 1981, and probably a lot of your viewers remember when we were founded, and our founders were General William Lyon and Bill Steiner, fixtures in the community for decades. And so at that time, those two men brought together a group and established Orangewood Foundation to build a shelter for the county. About 5 years later, after raising about $10 million, we donated it back to Orange County Social Services. So a lot of people don't realize that we're a private foundation, private nonprofit. We assist the shelter in some ways, but what we found is that a lot of those children at the shelter will spend their childhood in the foster care system. So now our focus for the last 10 or 15 years has been the teenagers and young adults. They're definitely, from a marketing perspective, they're not as cute and cuddly as the little ones, but they're the ones that need the help. Between the ages of 18 and 21, they'll be released from the foster care system, and they're grown-ups, and good luck, you're on your own. So really, we serve youth from about 15 to 25 to prepare them for that transition, help them through it, and then for a few years after. And so each year we serve about 2,000 youth. Our mission is to prepare foster and community youth to reach their greatest potential. So in the same way that I talked about with your own kids, they have different skills and interests. Our work is very individualized to help them find what that potential is. Sometimes they don't see potential in themselves. The other thing that's kind of newer maybe for some of your viewers is that the core of what we will always do is foster youth. But what we were finding is that nowadays there are youth that are teenagers and young adults who had or have the same family challenges with parents who maybe are struggling with drug addiction or alcoholism or those kinds of things. And the reality is 10 or 15 years ago they would have been in the foster care system. So now we still continue to serve foster youth, but we have youth who are experiencing homelessness, and then we have youth that are the victims of sex trafficking.
Right.
Because we found that anywhere from 50 to 80% of sex trafficking victims have or once were in the foster care system.
Wow.
So we've gone a little bit broader than we were in the early days, but we're still helping those youth that don't have the adult guidance or the resources that youth from stable families do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you being a youth support specialist, what are some of the things that you do to help them?
Again, like I said, that's what I love about what I do, is I can do anything. I get to go out, meet the youth wherever they are. That could be helping them get into college, completing the FAFSA, linking them with the people at the school, the foster youth resources at the school, doing a resume, find housing, health care. You know, when was the last time you went to the dentist? So very basic stuff all the way up to university applications. It's a very wide variety of what I'm able to do. And I feel very fortunate because of the foundation and all the resources that that we have to give aside from just my support. We have scholarships, we have workshops, we have grants, we have a resource center. So when I have a youth that's like, oh, I need housing, we have housing. Like, a lot of the problem is finding resources, but it's nice because I can kind of say, no, we have that here, like everything.
So you must have an awful lot of collaborations with people across the county.
We do. We've been very lucky. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Now I know that there is a center or an academy. Tell me about the academy.
Well, so in us looking at the foster youth population and those who came from not the foster care system but similar family dynamics, one of the things that we discovered is that only 54% of foster youth in California graduate from high school. And so much our focus had been in the early days college scholarships, but if you don't have a high school degree, college is not even an option for you. So with the help of Susan Samueli, who's a big fixture in Orange County, and some others, Sandy Jackson, we decided to start our own high school. And so in August of 2013, we started Samueli Academy Charter High School in Santa Ana. And now...
And it's a beautiful building. We just showed the picture behind us. I mean, it's gorgeous.
It's a gold ribbon school. We just received a designation from U.S. News and World Report. We're one of the top schools in the country.
Fantastic.
Yeah, very exciting. We have our 3rd graduating class next month.
Wonderful.
And it is just a dynamic school that's open to foster youth get priority enrollment, and it's open to any student in the community. We've been fortunate in a sense to have a waiting list every year, so we have a lottery. But foster youth bypass the lottery and get in.
And then how many students do you have there?
So there's 500 or so at the school.
That's a big
It's grades
school.
9 through 12.
Oh, okay.
We just got approval from the Department of Education to extend down to 7th and 8th grade. So in the fall of 2020, we'll start in those younger grades. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Do you help out there sometimes?
I'll go over there sometimes, but again, they have a separate program too there for foster youth. It's a one-on-one
It's one of our
support.
educational programs, but I think you were also asking about on-site at the foundation.
Right.
We have the Orangewood Resource Center.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And let's talk about the Resource Center.
The Resource Center is fabulous. So it's there, it's at the foundation on 17th Street. Young adults can walk in, 18 to 24. We have meals at 8, 10, 12, 2 and 4, Monday through Friday. They can take showers, get hygiene products. We have computers, on-site staff to help with anything that they need. You know, you come in, what are we working on today? You need to do the FAFSA, the stuff that I'll be able to go out to do. If youth need service right now and need to go in, they can just go in and get everything done there. They can do laundry.
Wow, that's great.
It's just all encompassing.
Nice.
Some of them that are homeless, it's their mailing address, because if you think about if you're homeless but you're waiting for a check or mail or that kind of thing, what do you put down as your mailing address? So we're their mailing address.
Oh, that's
so
great.
we're the basic things too.
That is great.
Yeah.
Now you have a couple of things coming up. Let's talk about, first of all, let's talk about your 2 events that are coming up.
Yes. So on Friday, June 7th, our 44 Women Auxiliary is having their annual scholarship luncheon. And so they raise money for college and graduate school scholarships that supplements our own scholarships that we offer to our youth. So it's Friday, June 7th at Fashion Island Hotel. And our keynote speaker is Elizabeth Smart, who was abducted as a 12-year-old. And so she's written several books. Yeah, the latest one is all about hope. And so she's going to talk about hope and resiliency and some themes that apply to the youth that we...
and who better to give it, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, amazing.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's
right,
awesome.
right.
That's awesome.
So that's on June 7th. And then a week later, on Saturday, June 15th, at the resort at Pelican Hill, we have a Beacon of Light Gala that is being kind of jointly put on by one of our board members, Vic Merjanian, and his company is Titan. And it is to benefit our sex trafficking programs. So specifically for those mostly young women who are the survivors of sex trafficking. I should say that the scholarship luncheon is almost sold out. So if people are interested, they can go on our website for both events, but the scholarship luncheon tickets are getting limited.
And that's the one that's on June 7th?
7th.
Okay, well, you really packed in a whole lot in June.
I know.
Well, that's awesome. Well, that's wonderful. And then I know one last thing real quick. Talk about stuff that you do year-round.
Sure.
And what you'd be looking for from the community.
Right. So there's a couple ways people can get involved. One is to volunteer. We always need mentors. We have different events, both fundraising and youth, that need mentors. We always need people to go to the school and listen to the student presentations and evaluate them. We call that authentic audience members. But then also you can do supply drives. So youth that come into the resource center, especially that are homeless, or maybe it's towards the end of the month and their budget is getting tight. We give them hygiene items, toiletries, non-perishable groceries, socks, interview clothes, things like that. So we're always needing new, unused, like full-size toiletries and things like that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
And if you want more information about the items that they're currently looking for, you can go to their website at orangewoodfoundation.org. We'll be right back.